Hi, everyone. Chances are, if you are feeling frequently stressed out, you may be living a life of continual chaos, emotional turmoil, and where you are experiencing high drama. It has become such a daily feeling that if you're not careful, it may become your new norm and quickly turn into chronic stress. What should have started out as a red flag or warning that your life is out of balance has now progressed to a point that you have ignored your body's stress signals and have overridden your body's warning to get help. And instead, you have unknowingly allowed your stress to begin wreaking havoc in your body. It becomes a destructive habit that gradually occurs when you choose to ignore your feelings of stress. And that is never a good thing for your emotional and physical health. When stress becomes a daily habit and you become used to feeling highly stressed all the time, it is a sure sign that your life is out of balance. The key is to find balance when you are going through those frequent stressful moments in your life. Today, we're going to discuss the 7 ways to reduce frequent stress in your life. The 7 ways will be defined by the spelling of the word balance, BALANCE. And B is breathe. Whenever you feel yourself getting highly stressed, remember to breathe by taking several deep breaths. I know this sounds like common sense, but believe it or not, when stress comes on suddenly, it is easy to begin reacting as the body goes into defense mode and our heart rate starts increasing while we forget to breathe. By stopping for a moment to breathe and take several long breaths, we will be able to focus on our physical health and reduce our stress level because we're not giving attention and giving in to the momentum of our stress. So the next time you are in a stressful situation, it is important to practice breathing immediately. Okay, A for aware. Be aware of your negative feelings and thoughts, such as anxiety, guilt, worry, fear, sadness, compassion, overwhelmingness, confusion, frustration, anger, etc. Again, just like forgetting to breathe, we can easily get sucked into those stressful moments when we are not aware of our emotional state. And if we're not aware, especially of our negative feelings, it's easy to let our stress overtake us. Being aware requires us to slow down, pause, and give us some time so we can assess our feelings, think of possible solutions, and maintain self control. Often, people under stress who are not aware of what's happening will react with a knee jerk reaction and start behaving in an irrational manner that causes us to overreact and be out of control. Behaving irrationally is not healthy for yourself or the other person you're dealing with. Usually, irrational behavior just further escalates an already potential volatile situation. And as the situation escalates, your stress level also increases as well. There is no gain for either party when stress becomes the main driver in our lives, and all objectivity and rationale is lost. Therefore, being aware helps to create a little space to prevent, excuse me. Therefore, being aware helps to create a little space to prevent overreaction and helps to reduce stress. L for let it go. We have all heard of this simple phrase, let it go. When you're about to get stressed out, by breathing and being aware of your emotions, you will then be able to think clearly and decide if this situation that is worth letting it go. If this situation is worth letting it go. As a wise person once said, pick your battles. It is not wise to fight every battle, and more importantly, not every battle is worth fighting. Can we let go of the little things? It is the battle worth our peace of mind and stress. Most people who are always chronically stressed all seem to share this one thing in common. They haven't developed the discernment to weigh their options. They feel they must overreact to everything and not pause long enough to breathe, to be aware, and then allow themselves the much needed time to think through things. It's important to have discernment, having the wisdom to know which battles are worth fighting for and which ones are not. You can think of discernment as the roots of a tree. If the tree doesn't have roots, then the tree will blow in whatever direction the wind is blowing. So being grounded is paramount to the stability of one's life. You may be wondering, how do I know what to let go? Well, that will be different for everyone. You must know yourself well enough to know situations that trigger you. We all come from different walks of life and different life experiences. Everyone is triggered by different events. So, again, being aware and knowing yourself will go a long way to recognizing what you can and cannot let go. If you find yourself in an unhealthy pattern of making poor decisions that lead to unwanted outcomes like abuse, pain, and toxic relationships, then it may be time to seek counseling and heal. People who have a victim mentality, a woe me attitude, tend to feel they're always being taken advantage of or bad things always happen to them. They play the victim role because they haven't yet done the inner work to heal, learn self love, and love others in a healthy manner. Think back on your past 5 relationships. If those relationships resulted in the same unhealthy, destructive patterns of behavior, then it's time to realize the common denominator, and that common denominator is you. Now, I'm not here to put blame on anyone, but help those of you who are playing victim to realize it's time to seek counseling and work on yourself. No one is perfect, and none of us have come from perfect upbringings. Most of us have experienced significant emotional childhood wounds and, and scars that need healing. And until we heal, we will continue to repeat self-defeating patterns of behaviors in our relationships, and we feel we are a victim who is helpless and at the mercy of a scary, cruel world. The good news is that as you heal, you will then be able to open your mind and heart to learn discernment. And in time, having the discernment and wisdom will help you to decide what stressful situations to let go. So be patient with yourself as you heal, learn, and grow. Healing is a process, and learning to let go is also a process that takes time. For words of encouragement, there's a popular serenity prayer that most of you have already heard of. The shorter version is commonly known, but there is a complete full original version of the serenity prayer written by theologian Reinhold Niebuhr. I'm sorry if I've mispronounced it incorrectly. That can be found online at www.thevoiceforlove.com. So this longer version of the Serenity Prayer states, God, give us grace to accept with serenity the things that cannot be changed, courage to change the things which should be changed, and the wisdom to distinguish the one from one another. And the wisdom to distinguish the one from the other. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking as Jesus did, the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right, if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen. This longer version emphasizes the importance of living in the present, finding joy when faced with challenges, and the humility to surrender to a higher power. When we come across a situation that is not within our control, we sometimes must let it go and let God's will prevail. And if we can learn to let go when needed, we will ultimately reduce our stress level. A for attention. Paying attention and living in the present is important. Often, when people are frequently stressed, they tend to react to the present instead of paying attention to the present. Reacting is acting without any forethought, whereas paying attention is focusing and observing. Reacting to stress doesn't give you the proper time to gain perspective to figure out the best way to deal with the situation. However, paying attention allows you to step back, pause, and take a few moments to breathe, be aware, assess, and maintain a sound mind to make wise decisions. And making wise decisions will lead us to less stress as we pay attention to the present. N for neutrality. When stress hits, it's important to get to a place of neutrality where we are not operating under extremes. Neutrality is having a balanced mind and attitude so that you're not behaving in either extreme of either over the top or not enough. Most people who are frequently stressed will tend to act in the extremes. They get easily triggered by a situation or person, and because they're lacking awareness, they are either all in or totally dismissive. Their erratic behavior happens with people who are frequently stressed. Their erratic behavior happens with people who are frequently stressed because their minds are shut off and on autopilot. This imbalance is seen in their lives as they jump from one chaotic moment to the next. Drama seems to follow them everywhere, and their lives are filled with constant stress. If your life is what feels like a never ending roller coaster ride with endless drama, then it's a huge red flag that you need to seek counseling. Counseling will help you heal and learn emotional regulation so you can create a more balanced life and neutrality. C for counseling. As just discussed, having neutrality and balance in your life is very important to reduce stress. However, when you find yourself living in stress mode every day, it's time to seek counseling. Finding a licensed, trained professional counselor will help you overcome chronic stress, heal, and learn self love. Many insurance companies provide coverage for free counseling sessions. As discussed earlier, when feeling frequently stressed out has become a daily habit of living, then it's a clear sign that your life is out of balance and there may be hidden childhood and or adulthood wounds that need to be healed for you to stop the cycle of frequent stress by reducing it. Okay, and I want to stop right here and just introduce this the book I recently wrote. It's called "Fairy Tales Are for Frogs: The Reality of Happily Ever After." Um, and for those of you who are married or in long-term relationships, I recommend you get my most recent book, "Fairy Tales Are for Frogs," like you said. Because it's a short read and provides more information about counseling, healing, self love, and finding happiness from within. Okay, it's a short book, as you can tell. But yeah, if you're in a long term relationship or married, and you find yourself very unhappy or you feel stuck, this will help you get unstuck. Okay, and the reason why I'm talking about this right now, it kind of ties into the whole idea of going to get counseling and healing. So please check out my book. You can find this book on my YouTube page under there's a link to all my books to Amazon. Okay, if you go to my profile, you'll be able to find all my books and you'll find this one. Okay, so check that out when you get a chance. Okay, E for emotional regulation. Many people who experience frequent ongoing stress lack emotional regulation. There's a great in-depth article online from Cornell Research Program on self-injury and recovery. The title is called "What is Emotional Regulation and How Do We Do It?" In this article, I will justify briefly I will just briefly highlight a few paragraphs that provide an excellent description of emotional regulation. In this article, it states, all of us feel and experience emotions, negative and positive, each and every day. Emotions are a normal part of our everyday lives. Everyone experiences them. For some, though, feeling these emotions can seem overwhelming, like an out of control roller coaster. It is common for one or more strong emotions to occur before an individual engages in self injury. These often include guilt, sadness, feeling overwhelmed or frustrated, anger, self blame, and low self worth. This feeling of being overwhelmed emotionally can lead to a deep need to do something that will stop the intensity. Self injury can serve as a short term fix to stop the overwhelmingness of the feeling, at least for a little while. The role of emotions and how they contribute to self injury is discussed in greater detail on an information brief here on this website. See Prusian, Rosenblum, and Whitlock. The purpose of our conversation here is to discuss how to help ourselves and others with managing or regulating strong emotions when they feel overwhelming. Emotional regulation is a term generally used to describe a person's ability to effectively manage and respond to an emotional experience. People unconsciously use emotional regulation strategies to cope with difficult situations many times throughout each day. Most of us use a variety of emotion regulation strategies and are able to apply them to different situations in order to adapt to the demands of our environment. Some of these are healthy and some are not. Healthy coping strategies, such as managing stress with a walking program, do not cause harm. They can help to diffuse strong emotions, often allowing for a greater understanding of what led to the emotional experience. Self injury is considered an unhealthy coping strategy. Unhealthy strategies are those that may leave lasting damage, such as lifetime scars, chronic injuries, or wounds, result in unanticipated damage, such as wounding too deeply, or lead to avoiding dealing with situations that will inevitably require a head on solution. For instance, drugs or alcohol are common here, but self injury can be used as a distraction for this reason too. You can learn and read more about healthy and unhealthy coping strategies in that online article. So you can see the importance of how emotional regulation is vital to reducing stress. For those of you who are having issues with emotional regulation, seeking a qualified trained counselor will help you overcome your inability to regulate your emotions. Through counseling, you will not only heal but also learn healthy coping mechanisms to deal with stress and thus develop emotional regulation. In summary, there is hope for those of you who are living with frequent stress. It's never too late to improve your life. You deserve a life of harmony, peace, and love. If you are experiencing frequent stress, it's extremely important to establish a balance in your life by these 7 ways to reduce frequent stress. B for breathe, remembering to breathe. A for aware, being aware of your negative feelings and thoughts. L for let it go, picking your battles and know which ones to let go. Um, A for attention, paying attention versus reacting to the present. N for neutrality, creating balance and not operating under extremes. C for counseling, seeking professional counseling to heal. And E for emotional regulation, learning to regulate your emotions. Okay, so I just want to stop right here. The reason this subject came up, and I felt a need to discuss it. Throughout my throughout my life in the last, I would say, the last 10 years or so, there I have come across a lot of people. Actually, it could be even longer than 10 years. I just know that this is a subject I've kind of ignored, and just hope that people will be able to find their their balance in life. And so it does, every now and then I still run into people who are chronically stressed, and their lives are just in turmoil. They're just constantly, it's just high drama, and they react to everything with high drama. And so and I really feel sorry for them. I mean, it's kind of overwhelming when I'm confronted with and see people that are hurting. And so I just felt this need at this point. I think I do need to address this and reach out to those of you who are living a life of chronic stress or frequent stress. Okay. Um, and it's really important, especially as we get older, our body is not the same as we were when we were in our 20s. And when we're younger, we can withstand a lot more, hardship and stress in our lives. But as we age, we do our bodies do start getting a little weaker. Our immune system is not as strong as it used to be. And so we do need to take care of ourselves, and that means eating well. It means, from an eating standpoint as well as from an emotional standpoint. So I don't want I don't want to you know keep talking too much about this, but I do want to address all of you who are experiencing a lot of stress all the time. I hope you you know can take in what we've discussed today and find ways to reduce the stress in your life, because everyone deserves to be happy and stress free, and to live a good healthy life. Okay. um, so it's my hope and prayer that you will find healing soon as you reduce the frequent stress in your lives. Okay, folks. So, like I said, I do want everyone to find a balance in their lives. No one's life is perfect. We all have problems, and we all deal with stress at some point in our lives. And it's just a matter. It really is a question of how we manage our stress level. Okay, and sometimes it's, if it gets to a point where it's become a habit, then it is time that you need to seek counseling. And by seeking counseling, you'll finally be able to heal whatever is causing you to continually react in the same way all the time. And when you heal, you will finally be able to learn some new skills of how to cope with stress, and learn how to function healthily in a relationship. Okay, and most importantly, to learn self-love. Okay, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you can resonate with it, please click like and click share. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to put that in the comments below. And until next time, I will see you again soon. Bye.